Hi everyone, TARDIS Guy123 here, and today I am going to be reviewing the Ice Warriors. So, well, let's just jump right into this before the DVD flips over. We've been having quite a lot of problems with that. But anyway, obviously here you have Doctor Who, the Ice Warriors, and you've got kind of like the waves going off there from the Ice Warriors gun. You've got two Ice Warriors there. That's surprisingly enough, look more like the Ice Warriors you see in the Seeds of Death, to be honest. There's not that much difference between them, except the Seeds of Death ones have a bit more of a constant look, and the heads are a bit smaller, a bit more, well, the helmets at least are a bit smaller, and they look a bit less ridiculous. But anyway, they've also got Patrick Troughton there as the second Doctor, and the TARDIS tipped on its side, which, if you've seen the story, you'll know is how it ends up landing at the start of the story. And there's a nice little scene between the Doctor, Jamie, and Victoria when they try to get out of that. And then you have 2-disc set, PG, DVD video, Patrick Troughton years, and that bit there. So then on the side here, Ice Warriors, black BBC logo because of the white background, and a white To Entertain logo. And then you have the Ice Warriors back bit, the blurb. It's written by Brian Hales. This is technically the first story he wrote for Doctor Who, even though I think he originally wrote The Celestial Toymaker. He didn't actually fully write that, he started to, and then someone else took over. I can't remember who it was. But anyway, animated episodes 2 and 3, because those two are unfortunately lost. Or fortunately, if you really do hate this serial. And then you've got commentary for the episodes, and some other stuff down there as well. Nice making of feature. It's kind of it's mainly about the cast, I think, in this, and not even that. They don't really focus too much on the scripting, and I personally prefer the ones where they look at the scripts, but I guess not enough people are around anymore, unfortunately. So anyway, let's take a look at the innards. You have the booklet there, disc 1, 2 Ice Warriors on it, and disc 2 with Patrick Troughton on it. And now let's take the booklet itself out. Front, middle, with all the special features and whatnot, and then the back with all the chapter points, and it is, of course, a 4-part story. Now then, what did I think? I meant to say 6-part just then, sorry. But anyway, what did I think of this 6-part story? Well, let's talk about episodes 2 and 3 first. To be honest, I really do not like the animation for this one. It's really poor style of animation. It's similar to the ones they used for the other one, but you know, done by a different company, and I really did not like it. It just felt so odd and so giant, and it felt a bit like a video game at places, kind of like the way they would pick stuff up just by grasping their hands together. It's a really odd style of animation, and you know, I much prefer the stuff they use in the 10th Planet. This style of animation really does hurt the story, and it's not a good story to begin with, unfortunately. I'll go into that more in a second, but overall, the animation is, I hate to say it, but it's extremely poor animation compared to the quality of some other animation. And while some people may not like that other animation, at least for the style, it's good. It's you know, it's mainly the style of animation people like, and not the actual quality of that style. And you know, for the style, that's good. For the style, this is rather poor. And to be honest, it doesn't do a good job reconstructing it. I wish they used something more along the lines of the 10th Planet. But anyway, enough about the animation. Let's now talk about the story itself. And as I mentioned just a second ago, it's not a good story, unfortunately, for me at least. And I know quite a few people who agree with me, some people who disagree with me, and think that this is a great story. Maybe not a great story, but at least a good start to the Ice Warriors. And I have nothing against the Ice Warriors as villains. I think they are a great villain. You know, they're kind of like got that noble warrior race thing going on about them that quite a lot of villains have, such as the Sontarans and the Chelonians. But as a villain, I think they work quite well. I like the Martian aspect to them. And that's very underplayed in this story. In fact, it's underplayed in most of their stories, at least the TV ones, that they are in fact from Mars. It's only really on audio that that gets delved into a bit more, and we actually go to Mars a couple of times. But anyway, you got lots of other interesting stuff to do with the Ice Warriors that isn't really built on this. It's mainly just a setup. They're mainly just the monsters. This is of course from season 5, the monster era of the show. So the Ice Warriors don't just basically serve as the monsters, whereas they get fleshed out more as characters in the Pertwee era, where they become sort of like good guys, I guess. Although there are some groups who have broken off and decided to go for the warrior ways of the past. But anyway, the Ice Warriors as a story. Of course, Patrick Troughton is my favourite Doctor, and this is my least favourite story from his era. It's just dull to me, and it took me ages to rewatch this one because I just wasn't looking forward to delving into it and rewatching it. And that's rather unfortunate. I don't normally feel that way about Doctor Who stories, but this one I really did, and it's actually, I now look at it worse than I did before, and I'll go into that, how the ratings changed in a bit. But I really feel the story gets worse every time I watch it, and it's just really dull and repetitive. Well, maybe not repetitive story, but just a dull story. And the direction doesn't really help it that much at times, although at times it is very strong direction. I will say the cave scene between Victoria and the Ice Warrior, I can't remember the Ice Warrior's name, but I feel that scene is very well directed for the most part. There are a couple of bits that go a bit badly, but overall that scene is very good. It's just the writing of that scene does feel a bit off to me, and such as Victoria screaming in Glacier, not the smartest move on her part, and well, I guess it is in her character's scream. I don't know, I just feel they could have done that a bit better, shown her character in a better light. And that whole scene is just, it's a real mixed bag, that scene for me. There are parts of it I really like and parts of it I really don't. And unfortunately, the parts of it I really don't ultimately just colour the whole scene bad for me. And then there's all that computer stuff, which really is very dull. Kind of like idea of computer intelligence over man and whatnot. And that idea, it's a worthy idea. It's definitely an intriguing one, but I feel it's played out too much across the story. It should have been only for the first 3 episodes, and then Ice Warriors for the second 3 episodes. But it's not really done that much with. And there are some scenes which, to me at least, don't make sense, where Leader Clint is going on about how the machine can't make a choice, blah 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 blah, and then suddenly he changes his mind, just goes, "We must put all our trust in the computer." And I'm just sitting there like, what? Didn't you just go on a whole speech about how the computer can't do anything in this situation? It's just odd to me. And ultimately there's the idea that there's no middle ground. Kind of characters like the Doctor and Penley just are completely against computers altogether, whereas Leader Clent is totally reliant on them. And it's unfortunate that there's no middle ground, because that's the point that it should be aiming towards. But the story feels like it's more focused on the idea that computers are bad, and because the Doctor supports that. And then it's kind of like the thing where the Doctor feels almost offended that Clent checks it by computer. And I'm thinking, but surely that's a good idea to have a computer check it, but ultimately go with human instinct. I think the message should have been, computers do have their place, but ultimately it should be down to human instinct and whatnot, and there needs to be a bit more of balance, whereas here it just said, computers can't be trusted, trust your instincts completely. And, it's just unfortunate, really. It just doesn't show off well on the story. And since it takes up so much time. And there are some characters which are quite likeable, and, there are no real annoying characters in this, I'd say. It's just overall, they're just given a dull story to work in, which is unfortunate. It's not the best written story by Brian Hales, In fact, it's the worst, I'd say. It's my second least favourite Ice Warrior story. Maybe my first, actually, I'm not sure. I'll have to give Cold War a re-look at. But overall, the Ice Warriors, it's gonna get... it's between 5 and 4.5 for me. It's very close, but I think I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna say 5, because there is some stuff I like about it, but it's very low 5, definitely verging on 4.5. And for those of you wondering, my previous rating of this story before my rewatch would have been 6 out of 10, but after the rewatch just thought it's even duller than I thought it was, and it's gonna get that rating of 5. So I hope you enjoyed this review, everyone. Sorry to be so negative, I don't want to be negative about this story, but unfortunately it's just not my kind of story, and there are others who think it's quite a decent story. I personally it's just not my kind of story. So overall, thanks for watching this review, everyone, and I'll see you all next time with the review of The Rose Mariners, which is a Lost Story release, which I picked up during the recent deal. The disc still hasn't arrived yet, unfortunately. Not sure when I'm expecting that by. Hopefully soon, and as soon as that arrives, I will upload my review. So thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you all next time. Bye, everyone.